Hey there, weird ass black sheep from Bizarro World. You have passed the Twilight Zone. Hope you weren't looking for that. Then you hit the fork in the road.
I love it! You guys are so great!
Then you took the ride
Ding, ding.
and rolled right into the most expensive church this side of the universe, the party pit. Welcome to my humble abode. And what we do here in this most amazing place, we read this great ass book. It's called God Said because God did not say that shit. Right now, we are on part 2. It's called Jesus Who. So that's what we're reading. We're on Matthew 6. It's the first book of Jesus Who. It's Matthew 6. And we just finished the Sermon on the Mount. Oh, I'm sorry. It's 9. We're on Matthew 9. Why isn't this working? Okay. No, we are on Matthew 9, not 6. It's 9. And what has happened so far is Jesus was on a boat, okay? And there was like a storm and shit. And everybody was like scared as fuck, right? And Jesus is like, why y'all so scared? You don't need to be so scared of everything. Why are you scared? And they're like, because we're going to die, man. And Jesus like, no, you're not. And he wanted to roll over and go back to sleep, but nobody would let him roll over and go back to sleep. So then he got pissed off at the wind and went up there and yelled at the wind. And then everybody was super astounded that Jesus could yell at the wind. So then everybody was scared as fuck. So that's where we left off and where we will be picking up. So if that sounds interesting to you and you want to enjoy more of this shit talking tour, come along with us. There are 279 weirdo sheep dressed like wolves. So come and get in. Fit in to get in, man. Hey, hey, bone crushing hugs to you, Neil. Listen, this evening I'm drinking water and smoking basic. I also rolled a joint here for the party pen so we can smoke this joint and we can smoke these basics and we can drink this water. So, how is your fourth going, Neil? Is it going amazing? No, nothing. Ah, okay. Good night, Supersonic. No, yeah. Hold on. No, no, I'm not.
On camera?
No, you're not on camera. See?
Can they hear me?
No, they also cannot hear you. Hold on. That was Supersonic. She did not want to be on camera. Sorry, but say hi to Supersonic. She is in there in the other room. Um, but anyway. Hi everyone, welcome. Press like and subscribe. Chat in the chat because I love to interact with you. It would be so fantastic. And press like and subscribe because I'm trying to get to 500 subscribers because I think it would be amazing if I did that. So, we are on chapter 9. Hey, Neil, you're number 1 today. Okay. So, remember, Jesus got in a boat to go to the other side because he needed to get away from the multitudes that were following his shiny piles of shit. So he got on a boat so he could dump his shit. Anyway, they came to Capernaum, right? No, he left Capernaum and he got on a boat and the wind was being an asshole. And then he came to his own place, which is not Capernaum. I don't know where this place is. I haven't read that far ahead. But, anyways, he's in his own city. And behold, they were bringing him a paralytic lying on a bed. And Jesus, seeing their faith, said to the paralytic, "Take courage and fix my fucking roof," right? You can be better, but you have to fix my roof. Because remember, this is Jesus' house. And they cut open his ceiling to throw this guy down there, this guy who can't move his leg. So they literally ruined Jesus' roof right now. And Jesus is like, they're so faithful, they'll break my shit. Okay, we'll get better and fix my shit. And then somebody there was like, oh my God, you can't do that. And Jesus is like, well, then would you like to fix my roof? And then everybody shut up because nobody wanted to fix Jesus' roof. That is kind of what happened. Okay. So Jesus said, "Take courage and fix my roof. Your sins are forgiven if you fix my roof." And behold, some of the scribes said to themselves, "How can he ask this paralyzed guy to fix his roof? What the hell is wrong with me?" Hey, Neil, don't be that way to me, because I blow you weed kisses. So at least don't be trolling in my chat. I would highly appreciate it. I love you, babe. Okay. So anyway, Jesus fix my roof, and they're like, this guy can't tell this paralyzed guy to fix his roof. And Jesus said, why can't I? Because listen, what would you like me to say? Go out my front door and leave this hole in my roof. Or, hey, I just made you better, fix my roof. Right? What is easier to say? It's the same amount of time to say both of them. And I would prefer he fix my roof. But in order that you know that the Son of Man has authority on earth to forgive sins, then he said to the paralytic, I said, fix my roof. So they fixed Jesus' roof. But then the multitude saw this, and they were filled with awe, and they glorified God who had given them such strength to fix Jesus' roof. And as Jesus passed on from there, he saw a man called Matthew sitting in the tax office. And he said, come on, dude. And Matt was like, bet. In the other Bibles, they call him Levi, but his name is not Levi. His name is Matthew. Don't let these people got a real problem with changing people's names. Like they try to call Solomon Jedediah, and they try to call Jesus Emmanuel. Yeah, they got a real problem with trying to change people's names. Real thing. Anyway, he's like, Matthew, come on. And he was come down. And it happened that he was mansplaining at the table in the house. And behold, many tax gatherers and sinners came and were sitting with Jesus and his disciples. Hi, everyone. Welcome. Chat in the chat. We'd love to interact with you. And press like and subscribe. I'm trying to get to 500 subscribers because it'd be sweet as fuck. I don't have a lot of watch hours, so I'm not going to be getting paid. But you can help me get to 500. Anyway, all these awesome people were dining with Jesus and his disciples. And for some reason, the Pharisees are also in there. And they saw this. He said to his disciples, the fuck, yo? And when he heard this, he said, is it not those who are it it is not those who are healthy that need a physician, but those who are sick. But go and learn what this means. I desire compassion, not sacrifice. Nor did I come to call the righteous, but sinners. That's us, weirdos. That's us weirdo black sheep. A sheep dressed like wolves. That's us. Ha ha, fucking right. Oh man. Okay. I need to stop getting so excited. Okay. Anyway. Then the disciples of John came to him, saying, why do we and the Pharisees fast, but your disciples don't? And Jesus said, because we're all together. We're not sad. We don't have to mourn and do the fasting shit because we're not sad. That's why. But believe me, it's going to be sad real soon because I'm just speeding up my demise. You know, I'm just making it go faster than it should. Anyway, they're happy right now, but pretty soon they're not going to be happy. Because listen, no one puts a patch of unshrunk cloth on an old garment, for the patch pulls away from the garment and worse tear results. Nor do men put new wine in old wineskins. Otherwise, the wineskins burst and the wine pours out, and the wineskins are ruined. But they put new wine into fresh wineskins, and both are preserved. While he was saying these things to him, behold, there came a synagogue official, and he did the face thing to Jesus, saying, my daughter has died. Come and lay her hands on her. Bleh. Come and lay your hands on her, and she will live. And Jesus got up and went, and also did his disciples. And behold, a woman who had been suffering from a bleeding problem, right, for 12 years, came up behind him and touched the bottom of his coat. And she was saying to herself, this is a Nikki K ancestor, by the way. She said, I'm just going to touch him and I'll be fine. But Jesus, turning and seeing her, said, you're fine. And right then, the woman was fine. And Jesus came to the official's house and saw the music and all of this shit going on. And he began to say, depart, because the girl is just sleeping. And they all started laughing at him. He's like, fuck off, she's sleeping. But when the crowd had been put out, he entered and said, wake the fuck up. You got everybody scared. Get up. And this news went to all the land. And Jesus passed on from there. 2 blind men began to follow him, crying out, saying, have mercy on us, son of David. And after he had come into the house, the blind men came to him and said, yo. And he was like, okay, do you really believe that? And they were like, fucking right, we do. And then he touched their eyes, saying, look at the color green. And they were like, oh shit, it's a color green. Yeah, it's a good time. And Jesus sternly warned them, tell no one about this. There's a bazillion people following me, but don't tell no one. It's a rule. So they went and told everybody. And they were going out, and behold, a man of not smart stature, he was demon possessed, was brought to them. And after the demon was cast out, the not so smart man spoke the stock market. And the multitudes marveled, saying, "Holy shit, what's a stock market?" But the Pharisees were saying, "He cast out demons by demons." And Jesus is like, "That's not how you play chess." I don't know, that might be how you play chess, but that's not how you play chess, right? That's stupid. That's a stupid thing to even think. Why would you say that out loud? And the Pharisees looked at him dumbfounded. Like, how do you know what we're thinking, fucking weirdo? Okay. Okay. And Jesus said, "That's not how you do that." And Jesus was going about all the cities and villages, teaching in their synagogues. That's how badass Jesus is. He goes into their shit and teaches better than they do. Look, I'm sorry, but Jesus is the most motherfucking gangster dude ever. He's like, "I'm going to go into your space and teach your shit better than you." I'm a Stone Cold Steve Austin, the WWF. That's what Jesus is thinking right now. The synagogue is WWF and Jesus is Stone Cold Steve Austin. It's like fucking right. Or Jesus is fucking Shawn Michaels in the mid 90s with the click and shit. Yeah, that's exactly it. Jesus is Shawn Michaels and the disciples are the click. That's what's happening right now. Okay. And Jesus, okay. So he went in their synagogues, proclaiming the gospel of the kingdom and healing every kind of disease and sickness. And seeing the multitudes, he had compassion on them because they were distressed and downcast like sheep without a shepherd. That's us weirdos. We're down, distressed and downcast, and we don't fit in, and everyone treats us bad. But by golly, we're still wolves dressed like sheep. We still fit in, and we still get in. Okay. Spoke to his disciples. The harvest is plentiful, but the workers are few. No, I'm just good right here by myself. There is not few of me. There's enough of me. I need more. Therefore, beseech the Lord of the harvest to send out workers to his harvest. No, he needs to send me more harvesting. I need more harvest. Anyway, we're going on to chapter 10. Neil, are you still here? Do you know where CNA is? Is he at Deb's? Yeah, there she is. What are they doing over here? No, it doesn't look like he's over there. Hold on. We'll see what Debs is saying. Oh, am I in the wrong chat? Where am I at? Oh, I'm in the wrong chat. Well, we're gonna see. Oh, well, it's okay. I don't know where I am either. Hold on. I don't even know. Where am I at in life? Oh, I'm right here. And where's this at in life? This is dead. Okay. I'm taking hers, not down, just in case she says hi back. Well, maybe she'll come over here. I don't know. Anyway, we're going on to chapter 10. So let's hit this bull and then go on to chapter 10. So everybody hit this bull with me. You know what I was just thinking? There's not a lot of God voice in the story of Jesus. Yep. We are about to smoke. Why doesn't it automatically start you off on live chat? All right, we're gonna hit this one more time. Shit, I think. Now. All right, here we go. Chapter 10. And having summoned his 12 disciples, he gave them authority over unclean spirits to cast them out, to heal every kind of disease and sickness. Now, the names of the 12 apostles are Simon, Andrew, James, John, Philip, Bartholomew, Thomas, Matthew, James, Thaddeus, Simon the Zealot, and Judas Iscariot. These 12 Jesus sent after instructing them, saying, "Do not go the way of the Gentiles, and do not enter any city of the Samaritans." Yeah, but he goes there anyway. Anyway, let me shut up. But rather go to the lost sheep of the vampires. And as you go, preach, "The kingdom of heaven is at hand." Heal the sick, raise the dead, cleanse the lepers, cast out demons. Freely you received, freely you give. Do not acquire gold or silver or copper for your money belts, nor a bag for your journey, or even 2 tunics or sandals, or a staff, for the worker is worthy of his support. And into whatever city or village you enter, inquire who is worthy in it, and abode there until you go. And as you enter the house, give it your greeting. "Hello, house." And if the house is worthy, let your greeting of peace upon it. Live long and prosper, house. But if it is not worthy, take your greeting back. House, goodbye. And whoever does not receive you, nor heed your words, as you go out of that house or city, shake the dust off your feet. Because listen, I'm telling you, it will be more tolerable for the land of Sodom and Gomorrah in the day of judgment than for that city. Behold, I send you as sheep in the midst of wolves. Therefore, dress like wolves. No, he says, be as shrewd as serpents and as innocent of doves. But beware of men, for they will deliver you to the courts and disgorge you in their synagogues. And you shall then be brought before governors and kings for my sake, as a testimony to them and to the Gentiles. Yes. See, you got to be good in the world and good at the world. That's exactly what he's saying right there. Be a sheep dressed like a wolf. Be good in the world. Be good at the world. Just wait. He's going to go farther. He's going to call y'all stupid and everything. Just wait. But then deliver you up. And do not become anxious about what you're going to say, because you'll tell the judge you're guilty and you need to go to state prison so you can get a GED. That's not what you do. That's what I did. Anyway, they will deliver you up. Do not become anxious about what you're going to say, because God will just do it for you. Don't worry. For it is not you who speaks, but it is the Spirit of your Father who speaks in you. Brother will deliver up brother to death, and father his children. Children will rise up against parents and cause them to be put to death. And you will be hated by all on my account for my name, but it is the one who endured to the end will be saved. That means you got to play the game. You got to play the game. You have to make it to the end. And then you win and you meet God. But you're not going to meet God if you don't make it all the way to the end. You have to endure. He who endures is saved. Make it all the way and you will be saved. No matter what happens, you're supposed to do that. You're not supposed to give up halfway through. First off, selfish people do that. Not even cowards, because how much balls does it take to do that? A lot of fucking balls. But it's selfish. Anyway, you will be hated. Okay. But whenever they persecute you in this city, flee. Flee to the next. Because listen, I'm telling you, you shall not finish going through the cities of the vampires until the Son of Man comes. A disciple. Ooh, sorry about that. Anyway, sorry. A disciple is not above his teacher, nor a slave above his master. It is enough for the disciple that he become as his teacher, and the slave as his master. If they have called the head of the house Beelzebul, how much more will the members of his household? If your slaves are like, this dude's an asshole, don't you think his family was saying it before time? Yeah, but I'm watching the YouTube chat. And it seems to be going faster than my one on Restream. So I hope it does really go faster. I don't know. But it's a 3-minute delay. I guess you would know that. I don't know that. But I trust and believe you, my Neil. Okay. So, therefore, do not fear them, for there is nothing covered that will not be revealed, and hidden that will not be known. What I tell you in the dark, speak in the light, and what you hear whisper in your ear, sing it on the mountaintop, on the mountaintops. Okay, hold on. Forget. Now stop. And do not fear those who will kill the body, but are unable to kill the soul. Because James Brown always has a song about that. So it'll be cool. But rather fear him who is able to destroy the soul and body in hell. Are not 2 sparrows sold for 1 penny, and not yet one of them will fall to the ground, and fall to the ground apart from your Father knowing? But the very hairs on your head are counted. Therefore, don't fear the reaper. You are more than any sparrow. Everyone, therefore, who shall confess me before men, I will also confess him before my Father who is in heaven. That's what I'm saying. Could you imagine the guy in line and Jesus like, I don't fucking know you. Could you imagine walking all the way to hell and walking down that line? Everybody knows you're about to go to hell. Do you think they're like, oh, I didn't expect that? Okay. Do not think that I have come to bring peace on earth. Everybody must have forgot that. Jesus is not a nice guy. He is not a nice guy. He runs up in people's own shit and talks shit. He gives no fucks. I give no fuck. Jesus gives no fucks about anybody. He's like, I didn't come to be a nice guy. No, I came to fight everybody, to set a man against his father, a daughter against her mother. Everybody is about to fight everybody. A man's enemies will be his own house. He who loves his mother or father or anything is not worthy of me, right? So if you love anything, you cannot be my friend. You have to hate everything to be my friend. He who does not take up his cross and follow me is not worthy of me. So Jesus right now is saying, I'm about to break the law. Y'all come with me. Because if you had a cross back in these days, it was because you're about to get the death penalty. So if you're willing to get the death penalty, come with me. I think this crossword was different because Jesus is literally saying right here, come get the death penalty with me. I don't think he said that. He who has found his life shall lose it. He who has lost his life for my sake shall find it. He who receives you receives me, and he who receives me receives him who sent me. He who receives a prophet in the name of a prophet will see a prophet's reward, and he who receives a righteous man in the name of a righteous man shall receive a righteous man's reward. And whoever, in the name of a disciple, gives one of these little ones even a cup of cold water to drink, listen, I'm telling you, you will not lose your reward. So, what do you think, Neil? What does everybody else think? Press like and subscribe and chat in the chat. I would love to interact with you. We got about 15, 20 minutes left. Has anybody got anything to say? Nothing? No one? That wasn't nice of him. Jesus, not a nice guy. Jesus is badass. Like, don't you think Jesus is like, he's like a badass dude. He gives no shit. He'll run up on you and talk mad shit. Like, he don't care. He says, I'm Jesus. Here's everything you've ever done. Have a good time. I suppose you're right. He did give them a chance. Yeah, but when they told him no, like it started his shit talking tour. And then, like, for some reason, the Pharisees and shit are following him around, talking about why he's eating with sinners. But obviously, they're in there too with sinners. Mm. Well, um, I know, Neil number 3, you're probably drunk as fuck, so you have no idea what's going on. Not his fault. They said no. It's true. Oh, you are drunk. It's taking you extra time to type. You know, dead air is bad air. I feel like I should be like spinning a disc right now or something. But actually, I think what I can do is watch this Lori Vallow interview and talk mad shit. Lori Vallow, Nate Eaton interview. Okay. Yeah, it's bowl time. Do you want to watch this interview with me? I mean, we're not really doing anything else. And by the way, I hate the stress. Makes me look wide. Where the fuck did my bowl go? Oh, there it is. Hold on. She's going to talk a lot about the Book of Mormon. I do not know the Book of Mormon. Okay. Anyway, she's going to talk about the Book of Mormon. I do not know a lot about the Book of Mormon, but I do know that I'll do it when I show it.
How are you? Good. You ready?
Yeah. Are you my people here? Oh, okay. Hi.
Good to see you.
Great. Such a pleasure.
Have a seat. And
Long time coming, huh?
it has been. Happy birthday.
Oh, thank you. Yes.
So I want to start with Chad.
Okay.
You told me years ago.
Today is my birthday.
Today is your birthday.
How old do you think that I am?
52.
Oh, how did you do?
I do my research.
You must know a lot.
Yes.
The girls are like, are you turning 25 in my pod? And I was like, no, I'm turning 25 plus 25 plus 2.
There you go. So
Do the math.
you told me years ago Chad was the best man you've ever met.
Chad is a very kind person, yes.
Is that still true?
Yes.
So besides his spirituality, what else attracts you to Chad?
He's a wonderful person. Everyone who knows him knows that. You've never met him, right?
I haven't met him other than when we were in Hawaii.
I'm saying you never met him, talked to him, interacted with him, or
No,
yeah.
no. How often are you able to talk with him?
So we aren't really speaking.
By your own choice, or just because it's not allowed from like prison to prison?
Yeah, like the way that the mail works here is very difficult.
I see.
So we're only allowed to get postcards. Like you can't send a letter to the jail itself, and so there's difficulties within that.
But you still love him,
Absolutely, yeah,
and you've said you'll be exonerated, and he will too.
absolutely we will.
Will that be before he's executed?
Yes, Nate, before he's executed. You're well aware.
Okay, real quick. They will not be exonerated. First off, he unsubscribed both of her children from God's YouTube, and she let him. Both of her children.
You know, I know that you are LDS as well as I am, right? And you're well aware that the 3 Nephites in 3 Nephi 28 were given the death penalty 7 times. They were arrested.
But not for hurting children. I can almost guarantee it was not for hurting children.
After Jesus personally translated them, okay, they were arrested, convicted, and given the death penalty 7 times. And where are they today?
I don't know.
Not in children.
During the earth.
Yeah.
They didn't get executed.
So
they didn't get the death penalty. And there's 220 people in this country who have been on death row and have been exonerated.
I don't know that number. I don't know if that's true or not.
Do you think it'll be soon then?
I think it'll be in the Lord's time. I know that it will be in the Lord's time. And when you say the word soon, if you've ever watched The Chosen or dealt with Jesus at all, you know that soon is a relative term because
She's a Utah housewife.
1,000 years are a day to him.
So does it bother you though that in Chad's trial he blamed it on you and Alex?
So now that I know the judicial system and now that I have been my own attorney and how things work, you know, I've said this before in an interview, it's so different what goes on behind the scenes in a high profile case. Okay, there's strategies going on, there's defenses going on, there's all these things going on that you wish, like, can't we just go in and tell our side of the story? The attorneys are like, you can't do that. We have to come up with a defense, and we have to do this, and we have to do this, and like, why do we just go? Why isn't it? You thought, like, if you've ever been in the judicial system, which I hadn't before, you thought they get to tell their side of the story, what they think happened. You get to go in and tell your side of the story of what happened, and then the jury gets to decide. And that's not what happens. That's not what happens at all. And it's so sad and disappointing that that's.
So you think Chad, they had to come up with a defense just to have one in court? You don't think he really believed or blamed all of this on you and Alex?
Absolutely. And I know that for a fact because John Pryor came and told me that prior to John.
He did. He said, this is going to be our defense.
He said, I'm going to blame you, and Chad doesn't want you.
No, I'm willing to guarantee he did not say that to her. Because he's not allowed to. That would be breaking so many rules if he did that.
He wants you to know that. And this is the kind of stuff that goes on behind the scenes that nobody sees, that nobody knows what's going on. There's so much stuff going on that you wouldn't even believe all the things that go on. The experts that are being paid, the things that are going on. We got this expert, we paid him $1 to say the opposite of whatever your expert's going to say. I'm like, what do you mean they paid him? The state paid an expert $1 million retainer to say whatever the opposite of what our state, what
In
our
Arizona or Idaho?
in Idaho was what our witness is going to say. And the attorneys told me this, and I'm like, are you kidding? Like,
You didn't have any witnesses.
we did. Yeah, in the buildup, we did.
But then
we
you
absolutely
didn't
did.
call him.
Well, there's reasons for that. That there's strategies involved. There's things going on, and you have no control when you have attorneys.
And that's
They're
why-
doing it how they want to
And that's
do
why
it.
you wanted to be your own attorney.
There's several reasons. The number one reason was because they wanted me to sit here for 5 years while they got to know the case, and I wanted a speedy trial.
Can we go back to when I first met you and Chad?
And we didn't meet. You just put a microphone in my face.
Okay, when I put
Now
my-
we've met.
No.
We have met, you're right. Why didn't you just tell me where the kids were?
Because I was not ready to talk about it at all at that point. I was just not ready. It was very traumatic, and I was not ready for any of that.
Are you ready to talk now?
I have talked about it already, yeah. I feel like a lot of things have happened in these last 5.5 years to give me strength through that tragedy that happened with my children. And I've been a lot more open in being able to talk about it now. And through therapy, also like some post-traumatic stress therapy, because it's traumatic. And I'm living in here with some beautiful, intelligent, smart women. And had I never come to Arizona, and I know God put me here for
And notice she's supposed to be talking about her crime, but she doesn't. But I think this interviewer does a good job.
purpose, because I didn't think Arizona was going to come and get me. In fact, I think you and I had a talk about that, because there was an article that came out in Idaho saying that Arizona was not going to come and extradite me until all my appeals were finished. Do you remember that? I think, and then my
It's like
appeals
the next day that you were gone.
Yeah, the next day they came and got me. And my appeals attorney was supposed to come. He had an appointment that day when they came to get me to drive down Boise to Pocatello for us to have a meeting. And they didn't even tell him I was gone. Like, I was just gone that day. They came the next day. So I didn't think they were coming.
You mentioned a tragedy, and you said that this has all been a family tragedy.
Yes.
And it has been a huge tragedy. All
Absolutely.
of this.
Absolutely.
4 juries have said you and Chad and Alex caused the tragedy.
Yeah. That's the judicial system.
But how do you argue with that if all of this evidence came out that showed, that you, Chad?
The only evidence that ever came out is evidence state wanted to put forth.
Well,
They
you could-
they
you could
manipulate the evidence to make it look however they want.
But you
And
could
guess who
present
helps them?
evidence.
The
Oh my
media helps them,
God.
because from day one, when someone called you, okay, day one, whether it was Detective Hope or Detective Hermosillo, I'm not sure, called you and said, hey, Nate Eaton, this is going to be the biggest story of your life. And they got that information from Heather Daybell. And Heather Daybell and Detective Hoper are connected, right, because their kids got married. And they called and she said, oh, I have a story for you. These people killed their spouses so they could get married, which was totally a rumor,
I don't think that's
totally
true.
untrue. And then you ran with it,
It's
and you got famous from it,
worse
and everybody
than Jody.
knows what happened from that, right? So that's the way it goes. So the media put out their narrative. They kept on with it. The state went along with it. The state leaked stuff to the media
Okay,
to
well,
say
what's
what they
false?
wanted.
What's false about
Oh
the
my gosh,
narrative?
everything.
Your children were found dead in Chad's backyard. That's not wrong.
That's
Tylee was chopped up and burned. It's not wrong.
No, that's all mixed up. That wasn't.
I saw photos of Jay.
Oh my God. Her daughter was burned. Her daughter was nothing but buckets of fat. And her son was buried with a bag over his body. Yeah, it was terrible. It was a whole thing.
AJ wrapped in plastic and duct tape. That wasn't wrong.
Okay, I understand what you're saying of those facts. Those facts in and of themselves are wrapped around a whole lot of untruth.
About how they ended up there.
Correct.
So if Tylee killed JJ and then felt bad and committed suicide, how did she die first?
She didn't.
She didn't?
That's the part of their whole fake narrative. That's
burned her and chopped her up?
That's part of everything that they were doing. So I don't really want to get into all.
She's blaming. She said her daughter killed the little boy and she killed herself. But she never talks about why her daughter was burned and her son was buried. I think her daughter was forcibly sexy timed by her uncle and Chad.
All those details with you, because you obviously are very set in your mind. I'm not here to change people's
That's
minds.
why
I want you to change my
That's why she don't want to talk about it, because she knows they did horrible things to that girl.
I'd love to hear any evidence or facts you have that might make me think, you know what, they have it wrong, but I haven't heard anything otherwise.
That's because you've been pushing this narrative for 5.5 years. You're not telling me that your mind is not set on what it is already.
Minds can change.
They could change
Right.
if they're open to change.
Right.
Okay, so miracles are on the way. And you remember watching a movie?
Yes, Evan Almighty.
I did. And did you watch that movie?
I did.
And did you identify yourself with the reporter in that movie?
I don't know if I identify myself with. Did you identify him with me?
Yes, absolutely.
So what does that mean?
Okay, so When did the reporter change his mind?
Remind me.
When he was floating in the flood, the ark. Okay? Not until God showed the miracle was he did his mind change. His mind was like, this is the crazy guy. He thinks he's like Noah.
Press like and subscribe. This is what the fuck is her name? Daybell, Lori Daybell, and Nate Eaton's interview. I have to pause it sometimes and interject so it's not copyrighted. So this has to be commentary.
Why are you so crazy? He's pushing the narrative, right? He pushed the narrative, pushed the narrative, pushed.
The Mormons are losing their fucking mind in 2025, man.
And then the flood came, and he's the first one screaming, and he's screaming and he's running for the ark because he had been pushing this narrative the whole time, right? This fake, false narrative that this guy was crazy, that God didn't talk to him, that all these things have happened, right? That these aren't God things that happened, okay? So then he's the first one to get on there screaming, and when he's floating down the river on the flood is when his mind was changed. So when you're open to changing your mind, I will be happy to enlighten you to the things of
Yes, but she never does.
God.
Well, I would love to hear what you have to say. I wish we had more than 30
I wish
minutes.
we had more time too, because we could really get into it.
A couple of more questions for you, and then I know that you have some things you want to say. The night before Alex died, he told Zulema, I think I'm their fall guy. Was he?
No, absolutely not, and I don't think he ever said that. I watched Zulema go through 13, 14, 15 hours of detectives. I've watched the interviews. I've watched them all. And I watched her be berated by them, threatened by them, that they're going to arrest her, that she had a part in this, that she's a co-conspirator, and all this stuff until they got her to say exactly what they wanted her to say. And she made that up. She made up a lot of stuff, and I felt bad for her. Because I didn't want her arrested, because she wasn't part of any conspiracy, because there wasn't any conspiracy. And I felt really bad for her. I do love Zulema.
Did you and Chad have anything to do with Alex's death?
No, absolutely not. We were very surprised. No.
What were you and Chad and Alex doing in the storage unit moving the tire and the seat back and forth on the day that Brandon was shot at after?
So that's so silly that is, so there was stuff in my garage that I was starting to move into the storage unit. That's what we were doing. And so I moved that stuff in there.
The tire on the Jeep?
I moved stuff that had been in there, just sitting in there. It had been sitting in there. So I didn't have enough room to park. So I couldn't carry it. It was heavy. So I had Chad help me put it in. And the next day, Alex was like, where's all that stuff in the garage? And I was like, I went and put it in the storage unit. He was like, oh, I need that. So we went and got it. And that was it.
Can you see how, let's say you're not here, let's say you're at home and you find out about this story and you do all your research, you go through all the court documents, you watch the trial, and you're watching another woman going through exactly what you're going through. Can you see how it sounds kind of crazy what you were saying? Like the fact that this was all coincidence or you were just moving stuff in and out?
Yeah, because the narrative has trained the people.
But if you did your own research.
The narrative has trained the people. I have people come up to me all the time in the jail. I know everything about your case. I've watched everything. And they have every fact wrong.
But aren't you in isolation? Are you able to talk with other inmates?
Yeah, you have no idea what it's like in there. Okay, I'm in max security. I'm in PC, which I didn't choose to be, but they put me in there for safety reasons.
Tell me what PC means.
So, protection.
Okay.
Yeah,
Protective custody.
Protective custody, yes.
Okay.
And so I'm in a max pod with all the other women that are max. So there's like 8 women in my pod that are facing the death penalty. Okay, we're all in rooms in there, and we are all in there 23 hours a day, and we get 1 hour out a day to take a shower and clean our rooms, and that's how it is in there. But all of our doors have openings, so we can talk to each other even through the door, and so. Yeah, so I'm not isolated. But when I'm transported to court, like for my 2 trials, right, I'm with the women all day long. You don't normally see me.
Protective custody is usually where they put forcible sexy time people that do that to babies.
So I'm friends with everybody in my pod, but other women will shout out to me that, oh, I know everything about you. I know everything about your story. And they've been so indoctrinated by the media and their narrative that they put out. And nobody was asking me what was happening. Nobody asked Chad what was happening. Well, would you have listened then? You have to.
Absolutely. I wish
you need to be on the boat, Nate. Are you on the boat yet? Because when you're on the boat, Nate, I am going to be happy to share all this stuff because miracles are on the way. Miracles are on the way. And when you're on the boat, that's why I sent you that last message. Well, I sent you the last message saying, when you're on the boat, you'll be ready.
So
when you're on the boat.
You say Jesus is your friend.
Absolutely.
No, he's not.
Cheating on your spouse?
We weren't cheating.
Did he support killing?
No. Jesus is not her friend. Jesus should smite her down.
Killing your husband?
I didn't kill anybody, ever.
Killing your kids?
I didn't kill anybody.
Killing your boyfriend's wife?
Okay. Was I in Hawaii when Tammy died? How did I kill her? Are you going to explain that to the world now? How did I do that?
Using your kids' money while they're dead?
Okay, all that is messed up too. How
did you rent that unit in Hawaii?
That's all lies. Chad rented it. I didn't.
Chad didn't have any money until Tammy died.
Chad rented it with his money.
Okay.
Chad was an author and a publisher and had his own company.
So
So that's what I'm saying. You're
getting
getting
$30,000 a year.
no, but you're giving up facts that you don't. You're giving up whatever the state put up. They don't put up the whole story, Nate.
And that's-
they just put up tiny pieces to put together their own narrative. That's it. You don't know anything about our lives or how they were or what we were doing in the temple.
Yours-
What we were doing in the temple every single day.
While you're in the temple, while Tammy was still alive, you were in the temple with Chad.
Several times, yes.
Right. So he's married to Tammy.
Correct. Tammy came to the temple with us too.
The three of you.
At some points, yes.
How many times?
Probably twice.
When is this narrative going to come out? When are you saying the full story is going to come out? Like your side, what really
So
happened?
I have written, I'm writing it, and I'm going to write out every single thing, every single beginning to end, so that people can really understand, because you can't understand what happened with Tylee and JJ unless you understand what happened to Tylee in her life. You have to know Tylee's whole story from beginning to end. And when you know what happened in Tylee's life, you start to understand. The understanding, the lights click on. But nobody, this lady got up in Idaho. It was 1 year after I had been arrested, and it was going to be Tylee's birthday. And there was a lady in Idaho Falls, and they were having some kind of vigil on the news, because I was in a pod by myself at Madison County, right? And I watched the news, and this lady comes on, and she says, oh, you know, it would have been Tylee's 18th birthday, because she died 2 days before her 17th birthday. And then she said, it would have been Tylee's 18th birthday today. And if Tylee were here, she would be out, and she would be singing and dancing, and she would be doing all these things. And this is a lady who's never met Tylee, never knew her, never knew anything about her life or our life. And I was like, do you know how many of Tylee's birthdays we spent in the hospital with her screaming in pain while she's on morphine, and the morphine isn't enough to take away the pain?
Wait. Are you really blaming this all on Tylee?
No, absolutely not. I'm saying Tylee had a really hard life, and people don't
So how does that
understand.
tie into her death and your son's death and Charles being shot and Brandon being shot at and Tammy's death?
Okay,
Her
all
illness.
those things connected, right? It's a domino effect. So in 2017, I was told by the Lord that I was going to become like Job and lose everything. Will I do
my
this job
God.
if I lose everything?
Stop. 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 She needs to stop. Stop. Huh. Oh my God, stop.
And so this domino effect of things happened. This is all the Lord's doing. And guess what? He's going to come forward and tell it all. And I don't have to. But I'm writing it all down for posterity. I'm writing it all down because you know what he told me? You know what Jesus told me? He said, this is going to be real good scripture reading in the future. So if you
No, it's not. No, it's not.
go back and you read the scriptures and you find all these stories that were going, what do you think is going to happen? These are the last days, right? We believe that. You believe that, right?
When can I get a copy of this? Because I want to read it.
But you're going to, the whole world's going to get to read it. I'm working on it. I work on it every day.
Didn't
Jeff's
you-
like, what are you doing in there all day? I was like, I'm writing. It's coming to me. I'm writing.
When you were on trial in Idaho, didn't you say that Jesus was going to be back before the end of that trial?
Okay, who said I said that?
I'm asking you, did you say
No,
that? You
absolutely
never said
not.
that.
I have never. Chad has never. We've never given a date or a time. The prophet.
July 20th, where's the 20th?
Somebody
come from?
made that up and put it on there. I have never said it. Chad has never said it. We've never had a date. We're going with what the prophet says. When President Nelson gets up and says, these are the last days, we need to prepare for the second coming.
Those people are not prophets, and they're not apostles either. They're fake and they're lying. Fake and lying. They base their religion off of Ben Franklin. They said Ben Franklin's ghost came to them and said thank you for praying for him when he died. That's what they base this shit on.
We need to gather Israel on both sides of the veil. That's what we were doing. That's what we were working on. And we wait for his timing. The Lord has his own timing. He's never early. He's never late.
Why has
His
Chad been
timing
excommunicated?
is great. So I think that was false too. That was mean. That was mean.
To excommunicate him?
Absolutely.
Are you still a member?
As far as I know.
Okay. So, Lori, if you could go back 6 years
Yeah.
ago,
Yeah.
June of 2019,
Yeah.
would you change anything that's happened over the past 6 years?
Oh, that's a good question, Nate. I don't think I could because
could.
we were foreordained to do this mission. The Lord is using Chad and I right now, and this is what he's told us, as instruments in his hands. What do you think he's trying to teach the people, especially his people, his church? What do you think he's trying to teach his people right now while he separates the wheat from the tares? He has to have an earthquake. It has to be so detrimental. It has to be get everybody's attention. Our case has done that. And what is he doing with that divide? He calls it, you know what Jesus told me? He calls it the great divide. What do you think he's doing with it?
I don't know, but you've...
He's teaching people not to judge.
She needs to shut up. She's making my butthole hurt. I can't. This lady needs to stop. Just stop.
Don't judge something. You weren't there. You don't know what happened. Don't judge. That's what he's doing. And he's separating the wheat from the tares right now in his own house. And he's using Chad and I to do it.
So what if you end up going to Pocatello in a few weeks
Yes.
and spending the next 30 or 40 birthdays
Right.
there, behind bars?
That would be God's will, but I'll tell you right now, that's not going to happen.
It's not
It is
gonna happen.
not going to be 20 or 30 years. No, it is not going to be 20 or 30 years. I will testify to that right now.
So if it's not, how about every year on your birthday, and we do a follow-up interview, and you can give me the timeline?
Absolutely. I don't have a timeline other than what the prophet has said. Did you watch conference? This last conference? Did you watch it?
Are you able to watch it in here?
No, but I was
Did
at
you
the
read it?
prison. At the prison, I was able to listen to it because on your tablet you have AM/FM radio, so you listen to the whole thing. So I got to listen to it the last time before I came. But they did have one. They have one. I think it's a 2023 conference on our tablet here. So I watched it over and over. But all the prophets, all the apostles, everyone in the LDS church is saying, prepare, gather Israel on both sides of the veil. I was going to the temple. I went to the temple every day for like 3 years. I was doing all Charles' family's work.
I hate this lady. I hate her so much.
I was all my family's work. I was gathering Israel on both sides of the veil. And Jesus came there. That's his house. And he talked to me. And he told me that he needed me to do a mission for him. And this is what we're doing. And the media has turned it all around. But it was supposed to be. You know, there's always a Judas. And I almost used to think of you as the Judas.
Me? Was I on the dark list?
No, but this is what I'm saying. There's a Judas. People think that Judas is a villain. And Judas is not a villain. You know what Judas was? Judas was a vessel. Judas was a vessel for God's plan to come to fruition. And he told me the
Even the Bible says that. Jesus told him to go do it. We'll read about that.
other day, it's the full fruition.
God did.
Yes. So when we are, just like he told Noah, who was what? Steve Carell in the movie, right? So God came there and talked to Steve Carell. Is that true? In the movie?
Yep.
And the media guy didn't believe him, right? This guy's crazy, right? God didn't talk to him, didn't tell him to do anything, tell him to build a boat, buy all those lots, make his wife mad, spend all his money, build a boat because that whole thing was going to get wiped out, right? So God has told me lots of things, and this is one of the things that he told me. He's using us as instruments in his hands to separate the wheat from the tares.
Did you ever
And
think-
people are choosing. Do you know how many people have left the church over our case? Which, what does our case have to do with the church? Nothing. It has nothing to do with the church. We're not against the church.
Did you ever think you'd have the title of convicted serial killer?
No, do I?
Well, for people,
I mean, I guess you could technically say that, but everyone in the world knows that I didn't hurt anyone. I've never hurt anyone in my whole entire life.
well, years ago, everybody up to your friends, family, say you were a great mom, so much fun, loved to dance, loved music, loved to travel, you were the light of the party, and here we are in a jail. How did you get from there to here?
God put me here for his purpose. And so you know who he needs? He needs somebody, life of the party, somebody who teaches the girls how to work out, somebody who teaches the girls how to have fun and dance and do all those things. In this, the worst jail in the country. He needed somebody to come in to the worst jail in the country and strengthen these women. And I'll tell you what happened. We used to have this wonderful lady, and she used to come in, and she's from mental health. She used to come in on Tuesdays, and she'd be down there, and she's blonde, and she's really cute, and she's really fun. She's bubbly like me. And she would come down, and she'd try to get the girls to work out and give them coping mechanisms and talk to them about stuff like that. And half of the girls didn't like her. They thought she was annoying, and they were waking her up and stuff like that. Because you know why? She wasn't one of them. She wasn't one of them. But you know what I have? I have 7 lifetimes. I have worse
So you're on your
punishments.
7th life now?
No. I'm saying I got 5 life sentences in Idaho.
I'm sorry. Okay, yeah.
I've got another one here and another one here
I was talking
pending.
about the multiple probations.
No, I'm talking about
Your sentences for-
I'm
for-
sentenced to 7 lifetimes right
Right.
now, basically.
Why didn't
right?
you tell all this to the police?
So
Why didn't you tell them all this when you were arrested? Explain this to them. You know, God's told me to do this. Give your defense.
really, what happens to people when they say God told them to do something? They lock them up.
Well,
I'm locked up.
whatever the reason, if you really do think Tylee was responsible for this, why don't you tell the police? She had chronic pancreatitis. JJ had autism. All of
right.
these things.
All of these things.
Why didn't you
She
tell
was
the-
sexually abused by her dad from the time she was 3 years old, forced by family court to go to him for 10 years. You don't think that was hard on her?
I'm
She
sure-
was in the hospital
Right.
all the time. She
Why
had
not tell the
chronic
police
pain.
this? Why not tell the police all this?
At the very beginning, or what are you talking
Whenever.
about?
I don't think you've ever talked to him, have you?
You know when I called the cops? I called the cops 2 times in my life. Guess what happened to me? I called the cops when I was pregnant with Colby, and his dad had beat me up and I had a black eye, and I was thrown down the stairs, and I was 8 months pregnant. You know what they did? Nothing. They did not help me. And the second time I called the cops is when Colby was 10 years old, and we were at church, and we came in the car home, and he told me how Joe had
Sorry, I'm willing to bet 100% of that is not true. She took baby daddy back because she's a housewife and she was scared to be on her own. This is bullshit.
molested him, and he didn't want the same thing to happen to Tylee. She was only 3 years old. Okay? I called the cops, and guess what I did? I called them and I said, hey, this stuff happened. I don't know what to do. They said, we don't care. Call the county where it happened. So I called that county, and I told them the whole story. Like, my son just came to me. He's 10 years old. This happened.
No. Again, no. Huh. No. Especially in Utah. No. No, I don't believe it.
They said, we don't care. Call the county where the perpetrator is living. So I called that county and I said, this is what happened. And nobody would talk to us. And then the county finally called me back where it had happened, where we had lived previously, and they said, okay, come in tomorrow, bring the kids in, and we'll forensically interview them, okay? So we did all that. I did everything that the cops asked me to do. And then when I was in there, they said, after they met with Colby, they interviewed him for 45 minutes, they interviewed Tylee, they came out, they said, Colby met all the criteria we use to prosecute, and we're gonna prosecute him, and we're gonna keep your kids safe. And then they did nothing. And Joe hired a criminal attorney, and they did nothing. And he never got indicted, and nobody ever even looked him in the eye and said, did you rape your children? And for 10 years, the judge told me that if I didn't take Tylee to him every other weekend, and 30 days in the summer, and every Thursday night, that she would put me in jail. If I was late for one visitation of dropping her off at a dad who was raping her in the middle of the night, that I would be put in jail if I didn't abide by that.
Did you have anything to do with Joe's death?
No.
Did Alex?
No. We didn't even know. We were living in Hawaii. We had come back. Tylee was forced to go to him for 10 years by the courts. Hated it. Came home and cried, screamed, kicked, hit Colby, hit Cole, hit Zach, scratched him, yelled, threw things through the walls, was a nightmare, had night terrors, never slept at night. Tylee never went to sleep before 3 o'clock in the morning. She's 5 years old. She can't go to sleep. I have to stay in bed with her till 3 o'clock in the morning rubbing her back because she can't sleep because bad people wake you up in the middle of the night to do bad things to you, mommy. And so Tylee was a nightmare. Charles thought she was a brat. I didn't discipline her. Then I was in the hospital with her watching her scream and writhe in pain while she's on morphine because it doesn't work.
I've interviewed several jurors. You may have seen the interviews.
I haven't seen any juror interviews, none. I have no access. I'm in here 23 hours a day. I've been curious.
She's literally blaming her teenage daughter for all of this. Because her daughter was forcibly sexy timed and in a lot of pain. So she unsubscribed a little boy and herself from God's YouTube. And they burned the girl and buried the boy. Because it was self-unsubscribing.
I don't have access to anything.
Well,
So I haven't seen anything for a year and a half since I've been over here.
They've said they were disappointed that they wanted to hear from you, that you didn't have a defense, especially in Idaho.
Okay, let me ask you a question. If I get up on the stand and Trina Kay's sitting there, or
Rob
what's her
Wood.
name? Lindsay Blake, Rob Wood, right? And they're sitting there. Are they going to let me tell Tylee's story on the stand? You know they're not. They're going to object every 2 seconds.
If it's relevant to
They're
the
never
case.
writing it out. No, they won't, because they don't want me to tell that story because it's opposite of their narrative. It crushes their narrative.
But
it
you-
crumbles their narrative.
But
It's never going to be what it is.
as a defense attorney,
Yeah.
you present your defense. So you would have witnesses that would come in and would testify to the things you're saying and would give
I love
evidence
it,
to
Nate.
that.
You're just as naive as I was, and I love it. Because guess what? I found out as a defense attorney. This is what happened with Judge Boreski. This is what happened. They don't let you put on a defense. Do you know how many motions I had on, or not motions? Do you know how many exhibits I had on to get ready for us to present our case for the first trial?
How many?
We had 33 exhibits. We put them up there. Trina went up there. She gets to look at all your exhibits, right? This is how it works in law. She gets to look and see what all our things are, what we're putting up. Guess what I had? I had about 5 interviews with one of the cops
No.
who said, I have to get Lori
They're
on something.
not
I have
allowed
to find
to
something
look
to charge
at
her with.
the
I have them
evidence.
saying this on video.
Which cops?
Okay? This is it. Guess what happens? So I have 4 of those are my exhibits. I'm waiting for Detective Moffat to get on the stand. This says they're going to put Detective Moffat. Guess who they don't put on at all?
Moffat.
Detective Moffat. They go around you, and then the judge didn't let me put in one exhibit. Not
What
one.
if
Didn't
we-
let me put one exhibit on.
What if
Not
we had
one.
waived your right to a trial, though, and given your legal team another year to do all of that? Don't you think that would have helped your case?
No, not at all. Because guess what my team said? They said he wouldn't have let us put it on either. There's so many jobs, so much political aspiration going on behind the scenes in a high-profile case. There is no way in heaven that they were going to let me get up there and win as a pro per client. Because you know what? It's like a virus in here. Do you know these girls that are treated so bad by their defense teams that are making $1.5 million a year? They stay here for 8 years, 10 years waiting to go to trial. There's girls in here that have been in here for 10 years. Do you know what happens with toothache in this jail? They pull out your teeth. So tell me how it's not prejudicial for you to
Yeah.
go into trial with 5 of your teeth missing and you look like a homeless person and the jury's there judging you,
What a
right?
miracle.
And because you've been sitting in a jail that doesn't have any dental for you for
Yeah,
8
you're out.
years
You're
waiting to go
prison.
to trial.
You mentioned a virus. Were you really sick?
Oh, I was so sick. Yeah, I really
You
was
weren't
sick.
putting it on a little bit in the wheelchair?
Not at all. I
Putting
couldn't
your
do
head
it.
on the table in the courtroom? You were really feeling sick.
I tried so hard not to throw up in court. And Jeff can attest. So Jeff had the same virus I had. We had been working till like 8 o'clock at night getting ready for trial. The next day, when I went Thursday, he calls in sick. He's sick in bed, can't lift his head, he's throwing up. Okay, Friday at trial, we were picking a jury. I threw up at lunch and told the judge, I was like, oh no, I must have the same thing Jeff had. Jeff missed my whole trial because he was sick for 10 days in bed. Was so sick. I've been incarcerated for 5.5 years. I've only ever been sick one other time, and that was like a really severe headache that I thought may have been COVID or something for like 10 days. I've never been this sick. And you don't have any access to anything. Like, you don't have access to medicine or food or anything that you need. I was so sick. I had an infection. I had to get on antibiotics. And the medical here is ridiculously horrible. They did a test on me. We're supposed to give me antibiotics. They give it to you for a week.
I've been to prison. They have fucking everything. Like everything. You have to fill out a little paper.
I didn't start until a week later than I should have started.
Do you feel bad about anything that's happened? Do you have any remorse? Any apology? Anything?
Bad about anything that's a really broad
It is a broad
question.
question. About the past 6 years, Do you feel bad about
Do I have bad feelings about anyone?
Not
Or
bad feelings. Do you personally feel bad or feel some remorse for the victims in these cases?
none of the people are victims. So
Are you the victim? Is that what you're
no,
saying?
I'm not saying I'm a victim at all. I'm not saying that at all. I'm an instrument in God's hands. The victims that you call victims are not victims. Tammy died of natural causes.
The coroner disagreed with that. The coroner
Which
said-
coroner are you talking about? The one the
Brenda
state put
died.
on?
Brenda died, the county
Okay,
coroner.
okay.
Who said she was asphyxiated. So aren't her kids victims?
Okay, no. Do her kids feel like they're victims? No, they don't. They understand the truth. But let me
What
tell you
about her
something.
siblings?
Let me tell you something about Brenda Dye for a second. Let's go back to that because you said the coroner, and that is not even a true
She
statement.
originally ordered it as natural causes. You're right.
Oh, thank you, Nate. A fact,
But
a
then
true fact.
Then they
Okay.
exhumed her body the day before Alex died, which
Okay.
looks suspicious with Alex's death. They exhumed her body, and they said no, she had the marks.
Did you hear what you just said?
What?
Looks suspicious. Who exhumed her? Why did they exhume her when she had a natural death?
So you're saying
Why did they exhume her when she had a natural death? What was the explanation for exhuming her when she had a natural death from the coroner? The coroner said it. Why?
because you and Chad were under investigation and they thought that you all might have killed her.
Why? Because of Heather Daybell, what she said at the very beginning and called you up to say? That's
Heather-
exactly where you're getting
Heather
it.
Daybell
That's
did
where
not
you're
call me.
getting
Heather
it.
Daybell-
I didn't say she called you. She called you through
I didn't talk to
Detective
Detective Hope at all.
Hope. Did you talk to Hermosillo?
I don't remember talking to Hermosillo. The tip I got when you were in Hawaii was from none of those people.
It was before we went to Hawaii. It's before you went to Hawaii. How'd you get a tip
We-
before you showed up in
we-
Hawaii? You obviously had a tip before you
We
showed up
found
in
out
Hawaii.
about this case
Yeah.
when the police sent out a news release. And then somebody random, I still to this day don't know, and to this day, we got a Facebook message from an anonymous account with a GPS location of where you and Chad were. I
Someone
swear to
did
you.
not, no, you were in an interview with someone. I did see a tiny little piece of an interview. I think you had Hermosillo and someone in an interview, and they were saying, didn't someone call you up and say, this is going to be the biggest story of your life, Nate Eaton?
Oh, a police detective did tell me that, yeah. But it's not.
Who was it?
It's not the people that you named. It's a source. So
You're not going to tell me your source, but you know everything about me,
back
but
to
you're
the
not going to
question.
tell me your source.
There's a lot to know about you, Lori. Back to the question of, you don't feel bad. You're saying none of these people are victims.
I feel
Kay
bad,
and
of
Larry
course.
aren't victims. Brandon's not a victim.
No.
She doesn't think any of the people are victims, not even her kids, because they know what's happening.
No.
What the
I'm not
fuck?
saying that people haven't had hard things happen to them in their life. Everyone has hard things happen to them in their life, right? The judicial system plays up the victim thing pretty big, right? We've seen it happen. The people who lost their children, I lost my children. I lost them.
But because of what you did.
What did I do to them?
You arranged with Alex to conspire to kill them.
No, I did not.
And
Absolutely
Chad.
not. Absolutely
Did you
not.
know that they were in Chad's
Absolutely
car, or
not.
did I-
No, I did not know that. I did not know where they were. Alex told me that he was put them in a safe place. That's what he
So
told
did
me.
you find out at the court, at the first trial? Is that the first time you'd seen those autopsy photos?
Yeah, I hadn't ever seen them. I never looked at them before that. Because that's not how I picture my children. I know where they are in heaven. I know what they're doing. They have come to visit me. So I don't see them as bones. If anybody dies and you go to a cemetery and you dig them up 9 months later, you're not going to like what you find. It's not going to be
They're not
pretty.
going to look like that, Lori. They're not going to
I'm
look
saying
like Tylee.
anybody isn't going to look like that. I'm saying once
Okay, I'm going to tell you right now. And Jesus even tells us this later. When you're a spirit, you do not know anybody. Spirits are just spirits. They don't watch over you. They don't look on from heaven. No, everybody's just a spirit. And Jesus will tell us that later in the spirit or in the story. This bitch is full of shit. Spirits don't know you. They don't know each other.
your spirit leaves your body and goes to heaven, okay? Because I died, right? When I was giving birth to Tylee, I died. My spirit left my body. And guess what happens? When you're out of your body and you're your real self and your eternal self and who you are, you could care less what happens to your body. I've had that experience. Chad's had that experience. There's other
No. 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 Wrong. Wrong. No. Wrong. She's fucking wrong. Neil, you want to hit this bowl? It's bowl time.
others have that experience. So the body dies. Everyone's dying, right? We're all going to die. Our bodies are all going to go to the earth where they were from, and we carry on. We move on. So my children are in their eternity. They're doing well. They're happy. They're moving on. They don't want me to be sad. They came to me because they don't want me to be sad. They said, Mom, you didn't do anything wrong.
I got one last question for you.
Sure.
There's a lot of people that say I shouldn't have interviewed you. Well, they don't know I've interviewed you, but they say that you don't deserve a platform because of what you've done, what you've been found guilty of. Do they have a point?
In this unfair judicial system, anybody found guilty of anything. And I would tell to the people, I would say, be careful who you're judging. Because because anybody could end up in Orange. You live in your little life in the suburban bubble like I was, and anybody could end up in Orange. Anybody, because they can turn this on anybody. There's women in here, beautiful, smart, intelligent women that have had their children die, and they're family tragedies, and they're not crimes, and the state has turned them into crimes, and they're not crimes. And what I got accused of and convicted of, just like the 3 Nephites, what crime did they commit that they got 7 death penalties for? What crime did they commit? They got 7 death penalties for. I'm in good company. I'm in good company, and in heaven I will be in their company. And I didn't do anything that deserves this kind of punishment. But God did want me here. He did want me in here with these women. And He wanted me to lift and strengthen women and uplift them in these family tragedies. There's women that have suffered the same things I have. They've been here for years, waiting to go to trial. They haven't even gone to trial yet. But it's an unfair system, and they probably will get convicted. And then we'll see each other at the prison, and we'll uplift each other there until Jesus comes. And when He comes, He's going to set everybody in the prisons free. And all those who are unjustly and wrong.
No, the fuck he's not. No, the fuck he's not. He is not gonna let any of you motherfuckers free. All of you have hurt children or hurt someone else or broken one of the 10 commandments and never asked for forgiveness because you don't really want it because your insides are fucking evil. Jesus is not gonna set any of y'all motherfuckers free because your heart's not in it. Fuck you, bitch.
Wrongfully convicted like me and like these others, we will be walking free on this earth, and we will be walking with Jesus, and that's what we're going to do.
Okay, I have 15 cards, but
No, the fuck you're not.
I'm getting, so thank you, Lori, for chatting with me, and maybe we can chat again.
Maybe we can do it again sometime.
Okay, thank you. Happy birthday.
Oh my God. Okay. I hate her. Okay. So, did you hate that as much as I did? How did you feel about it, Neil? You got to be drunk enough to talk with me. Hi, everyone. Press like and subscribe. I noticed there's been no one that has pressed like and subscribe. So please do. You've been here. We do weird shit like this occasionally. So, all right. You want to watch another one? It really was something else. I got another one for you. We can sit here and just talk shit. I'm not really doing anything. It's Friday night. My pills haven't kicked in. We can eat some ice cream. Okay. You want to eat some ice cream? All right. Okay. Jody Hildegrandt. Oh my God. Hold on. Jody Hildebrandt phone call. Jody Hildebrandt phone call. Oh, shit. That's shut off. Okay. Hold on. Got no ice cream left. You need some. You need some ice cream left. Okay. Are you ready? Oh, it is that one. Okay. Let's do that here. Okay.
Nobody wants
Oh,
the truth. Nobody wants the truth.
Okay. So this is Jody Hildebrandt. This is another person that has hurt children. But she is using Bible verses to hurt children. So I am going to pause it and show you where it's fucked up. Are you ready, Neil? Is everybody else ready?
Nobody wants
Oh,
the
yeah.
truth. Nobody wants the truth. Nobody wants the truth because these kids, I told Doug, I woke up, the Spirit told me,
Yeah.
it's all the devil.
And-
I mean, you've seen him. I mean, I've known you, for 5 years? You've watched him come at me, come at me, come at me, come at me.
She's saying the devil is why she did this to children, but it's not her fault.
Mm-hmm.
And you're exactly right because he knows I know what he's doing. And he uses these kids. And he uses all of
The devil uses the kids to be evil against her.
us, the adults, the parents that don't hold the kids accountable. So now it's
Yeah.
abusive to make a kid sleep on the floor. It's abusive, or it's abusive to, that's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. You can't even raise your kids anymore.
So when
They weren't her kids.
being crucified in public opinion,
Yeah.
so
She's being crucified. Look, she's being crucified.
you're has to be super prepared. The only way he's going to get prepared is if you push him and ride him.
Okay, I will. I'll call him today.
Yeah.
He doesn't seem really animated. He seems like, the
Yeah,
pictures are going to
yeah.
destroy you. And I'm like, we didn't do that. We didn't do that. Those pictures we did not do. He did that to himself, yes. Did we put that on him and then he rubbed around and cut himself? Yes. But we didn't do that. Begging God, like, please help me understand why I'm in this. Like, this doesn't make any sense to me. And he gave me some information yesterday, and
I hate her.
today really sealed it with scriptures that
She found some scriptures that make what she did okay. And she hurt some children that aren't even her children. So she found some scripture.
to share it with you.
Yeah, go ahead. You got it there.
I'm reading the Articles of Faith by Talmage. This is an excellent
Oh,
book. I think everybody should read this book.
Yep, I've read that one. That's pretty deep read in some regards.
It is. It hits all the principles, with
Yeah.
a lot of clarity. So I've got a woman
Yeah.
that's interested in the church, so I'm reading some of this to her as well. So she's
Oh, cool.
a Jew, and both her parents are from Jerusalem. So,
Really?
yeah. And she's like,
Oh, that's cool.
I believe that Jesus is the Christ, and it's great. So this book is really
Oh, that's neat.
It's the Bible and the Book of Mormon at the same time.
That's cool.
So, yeah. So there's
There you
a
go.
section he's talking about
Uh-huh.
second coming, and I'm coming from this place of I was just getting ready to move, and all of a sudden I ended up in prison. Like what in the world?
Yeah.
And one day you'll know all the details, and you'll all things. But if I could talk
Right.
to you here,
Right.
but this is the Lord talking to the disciples. They asked him, like, when shall these things be? Like, when are these things going to come to pass? And so he's talking
Right.
about the last days. And he says that nation shall war against nation, and kingdom against kingdom. But and then he goes, but before all these that he just talked about, they shall lay their hands on you. Now, I have been praying for 5 months, like, explain this to me, like, what is going on? Like, I'm willing to go there, but please let me go right side up. Like, if you want me to be there because you want me.
She thinks that because she was arrested for what she was arrested for, which had nothing to do with Jesus, that she is going to be vindicated because the Bible says this. But it's not talking about her crime. It's literally talking about saying the name of Jesus, being a Christian, blah, blah, crap. Not for what she did.
Me to be there, then great. I will not resist it at all, but please help me understand. So I read this morning, and I just wept and just thanked him because it just all click. So he says, but before all these things, nation rising against nation, they shall lay their hands on you. And I'm like,
like, oh my goodness.
I was arrested. Wild.
You have 1 minute remaining for this call.
Back.
Yep, call me back.
Okay.
Yeah, call me back.
This is a call from and paid for by
Jody Hildebrand.
an inmate at Purgatory Correctional Facility. This call is subject to recording and
She's in purgatory.
monitoring. If you don't wish to talk, hang up now. Thank you for using Telmix.
Are you there?
Yep, there you are.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So the Lord says that first they'll lay their hands on you and persecute you, delivering you up to the synagogues and into prisons, being brought before kings and rulers for my name's sake.
Okay.
Turn to you.
Listen to that. She just said it. You'll be brought. We just read this, didn't we? You'll be brought before governors and kings for my name's sake. So kings and shit are gonna come and fuck you up because of Jesus, not for going to prison.
Testimony. And then he says, settle it therefore in your hearts not to meditate before what ye shall answer, for I will give you a mouth and wisdom, which all your adversaries shall not be able to gainsay or resist. And you know what gainsay means?
Wow.
So then he says, and ye shall be betrayed by both parents and brethren and kinsfolk and friends. I'm like,
We just read this.
oh my gosh, that's exactly what's going on.
No, it's not. We just read this. Jesus said they're going to do it because of him, not because you went to jail for some shicey shit.
And some of you shall be caused to be put to death, and you shall be hated by all men for my name's sake.
Again, because of Jesus. Because of Jesus. Let me know if you understand what I'm saying. Give me an amen in the chat, because this has nothing to do. These scriptures have nothing to do with what she's in prison for.
And he goes on to say, you know, and I never read that before, but like I've never been in prison. But I just read that. I just wept. I mean, the Spirit was like, he just said, "This is you."
No, it's not.
Yeah.
I
The
read,
spirit is full of fucking lying shit. Or she's lying. And more than likely, she's lying. Get down. Get down. Come on. She's lying. Because the spirit would have never told her that. Because she is not being persecuted for Jesus.
I read in Mark. So that was in
Matthew.
Luke, and I read in
Yeah,
Mark
it was in Matthew.
the same kind of thing, because the Gospels they wrote similarly. So he said, "Now the brother shall betray the brother to death, and the father the son. Like the father will betray the son, and the children shall rise up against their parents and shall cause them to be put to death." That statement right there is what's going on with me.
No, it's
The
not.
children shall rise up
No,
against their parents to death,
look.
and he shall.
No, it's not. This is almost over. But this has nothing to do with this lady. I'll read it to you if you want, but we just literally read this today.
Of all men for my name's sake.
Yeah.
I probably cried for an hour straight. Just everything clicked, and I said,
Wow.
"I'm happy to go to prison." Because if you continue to read the rest of the chapter, he's like, be grateful. If you're in this situation, be grateful because you're
grateful.
alive. And
Wow.
you will be saved. And
Wow. Yeah, that has been quite an experience to read that from your perspective right now. Wow.
well, I have just been begging him, like, you've got to explain this to me. Like, I cannot logically figure out what's going on here.
Really?
And,
Really?
And that's it. That's what's going on. And the Spirit.
Yeah.
I just was. When I feel the Spirit, I have two physiological reactions. I get really shaky, like I'm shivering, like I'm cold.
No, you're having a seizure.
Heat, like I have a fever.
Also, a seizure.
Wow.
Those are seizure symptoms.
Like burning up. It felt like I was burning up, and I was just shaking with gratitude. Like,
Wow.
It's God's fault.
Here's what this is.
God told them to.
That's super cool.
But this lady is why I named my Bible God Said What. And I'm really glad that I named my book Jesus Who. Or this part anyway. It's Jesus Who, or Das Bibel Part 2, Jesus Who. Because of this lady right here. Because Jesus was not talking about children. And we'll read what he says about children. And it's not what this lady said.
Pretty neat how that works, how the scriptures can do that,
Yeah. Yeah.
Cool.
Well, like I said, I have probably every single day just been, trying to logic, trying to understand, trying to be humble, trying to say,
yeah, sure. Yeah.
What's happening?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You're living a puzzle, trying to put the pieces together. Yeah.
And in Peter, First Peter, I don't have this one written down. I kind of wrote the other stuff down, so I took it down to the phone. But in First Peter, chapter 4, between verses 12 and 19, I can't remember exactly how he says it, but he's like, when you have something happen to you and it just feels like it's random, it's not random. Like this is intentional. It's not just some crazy active events going on.
Hold on, we're gonna First Peter chapter 4. Okay. I know it's right around here. Damn. Is it not in here? Oh, right here. 1 Peter chapter 4. Therefore, since Christ had suffered in the flesh, arm yourselves also with the same purpose, because he who has suffered in the flesh has ceased from sin, so as to live the rest of the time in the flesh no longer for the lusts of men, but for the will of God. For time already past is sufficient for you to have carried out the desires of the Gentiles, which is what she's doing. Okay? So then she's saying after this, it's going to be like she suffered. So she's going to be forgiven. But that's not exactly how that works. You can't bring on your own suffering. God has to bring on your suffering. You cannot bring on your own suffering. That's not how that works.
This is like intentional. And
Yeah.
that 1 Peter chapter 4 was another one of the footnotes to refer to, that reinforced all this other stuff. I'm like, oh,
Wow.
this is just some crazy, random event. This has purpose.
Right.
And then I connected it to my blessing, because my blessing I've been reading like several times a day. And the blessing is pretty clear. The first paragraph of it says, these are words directly to you from your Heavenly Father, and according to your faith and diligence, they'll either be a comfort to you or they won't be. So however much diligence and faith you want to put in them. And then the next paragraph talks about, it says, you are a special spirit, chosen and reserved for these last days, and sent forth to the earth in great clouds of glory to share the gospel and prepare the people for the return of the Savior.
Oh my God.
And it says, one of the reasons you were sent here is to share the gospel. The strongest message you will ever teach is the power of your example. And then he says, through the power of your example in the spoken word, he says, your tongue will be loosed, and you will be able to teach the gospel in far and distant nations. And then he says, through the power of your example and the spoken word, you will be a great tool in the hand of the Lord in teaching the gospel to many. So this whole paragraph about an example. I'm like, well, what's a better example than to go to prison unjustly?
Oh my God. She said unjustly. To go to prison unjustly. She is a motherfucking liar. There is pictures.
And then go teach the gospel. Go teach the gospel. Like,
yeah.
Plan on doing it.
Yeah, and that's super cool. That lady that's Jewish that you've met, and what a neat thing.
Yeah.
Be able to share with her.
I was almost done. I had a guy from a ward that I was staying. I was at their ward. He came over and he gave me a blessing, and he told me probably about 2 months ago. He said, he doesn't know anything about me. He doesn't know about what I do for a living or anything. And he goes, what you've been doing is going to change. You're going to be teaching differently in the next little while.
Wow.
Like, what in the world? I mean, Ryan, I know this sounds crazy, and I still can't put my finger on why it feels this way, but it feels like I was being set up to end up here.
Oh my
What?
I
God.
know that sounds bizarro.
What? Yeah.
I mean, I shouldn't be here. I haven't done anything wrong.
Right. But
Yes, she did. There's fucking pictures.
goodness.
You have 1 minute remaining for this
I'll
call.
run out of time.
But it was like everything got taken out of the house and it's in the storage unit so that I could come to jail.
You're fucking okay. I'm done. Haha. I'm done. Oh, yeah. I'm done. Okay. Where are you at? Right here. All right. So, what'd you think about that? Oh, shit. Okay. So, what'd you think about that? Both of those things. Do you think God said what is a good name for Das Bible? Damn, we stayed up real late. Do you fall asleep on your keyboard? It's okay. I might have fell asleep on my keyboard also. Oh, okay. Yeah, they're gross ass people, right? It's the same old song and dance, my friend. I don't know. Okay. Well, anyway, are you ready for bed? Because I don't know anything else to watch. Same old song and dance, my friend. Hey, it's okay. One finger typing is better than no finger typing, I suppose. You'd have to learn to type with a pencil in your mouth. I appreciate and I love you as well. You want to hit this bowl one more time before we give the pillows some head and the sheets some ass and have sweet dreams? Why does coughing make me sweat? Okay. How much did it take you to type this comment? Yeah, fuck yeah, let's smoke this weed. Okay, that was way better. I didn't die that time. Did you notice my new headphones? I stole them from my son. They're really tight though. They're really tight. They cover your ear and shit. They're pretty nifty. Yeah, why didn't you go to the fireworks? Seems like everybody went to the fireworks. I stayed away from the fireworks to make sure my cats and raccoons were okay. It turns out they give no shits about a firecrackers. They came and ate anyway, and they just hung out. We got some pictures and videos of them. Yep. And there's a raccoon that looks like uh that thing from Madagascar. It's got the face. Yeah, it looks like that. Why do we keep talking if I'm trying to go to bed? I'll let you keep typing until you say goodnight, and then I'll say goodnight and end the stream. Yeah, it's the color of the Xbox. But I don't know. They're not like my pink ones. They're kind of better than my pink ones. But I like the pink ones better, but they're broken. White man from town. Oh, the topic is whatever you want it to be. We've already finished the Bible. We've watched Lori Daybell, Jody Hildebrandt. What do you want to talk about? I mean, we can talk about whatever you want to in the Bible, out of the Bible. Um, we are winding down for bedtime. So, what's your bedtime topic? Oh, yeah, we're talking about headphones because I got new headphones. They're my son's headphones, but they work. They're gaming headphones, so they go all over your ear. I don't know. It was a stupid thing to talk about. Well, we was talking about it. Did he already leave? We're smoking weed. Do you want to hit this bowl? You can hit this bowl. It's almost gone. No, we could hit this joint. Well, it's part of this joint. Did that man leave? Why did you leave, man? You ask a question and then you leave. That's not cool. I mean, it might be cool if you stayed, but if you didn't stay, it's not cool. Aw, that sucks. I guess we're going to bed. Yep, even exploding vaginas. I don't know why the fuck I just said that. But does anybody got an exploding vagina story? Nobody has one of those stories. I'm gonna go sit in a yellow chair. Neil, what kind of music do you listen to? And then you can ask me what kind of music I listen to. I'll tell you. Oh. In the Bible, Adam and Eve were the only two people. Because remember, Adam and Eve also had other children. And if you remember, there were other things on the earth also. That's why all throughout the Old Testament, God's trying to get rid of the ancient people because they suck. And they're all giant and whatnot because they're half angel and half human. That's why. I like death metal and reggae, Backstreet Boys, and I love ICP. Because remember, the angels saw the daughters of men and thought they were beautiful, and then they fornicated, and then God made the flood or whatever, but a lot of them survived. And Adam and Eve were killed in the flood also. And we didn't even come from Adam and Eve. We came from Seth. And really, in all actuality, we came from Noah. Oh, I love Tool. I love Tool. And Pink Floyd is pretty decent. I don't know those other bands. I like Cradle of Filth, ICP, Typo Negative, Backstreet Boys, and Tool. And occasionally Bone Thugs and Harmony and Young Jeezy. I don't believe in any kind of race. I'm just trying to read Das Biblet. I believe Das Juden are bad guys, and these people in the Bible are absolutely fucking terrible. And I mostly read the Old Testament, but some things have come up to where I have to read the story of Jesus, even though don't want to. It hurts my feelings and it makes me cry. But Jesus is the most gangster motherfucker I have ever met in my life. And he is so funny. And I love that guy. He is, man, he's a gangster. I would want him as my friend. Listen to Tool, Neil. Listen to everything pre pneumonia or whatever the fuck, pneumonia. Listen to shit from Salvia, from, um, God, just any, do, sober, Tool sober. It is very slow thinking music and it is very simple, like music, but every once in a while you just need to put your gangster boots on and just fucking go in the world swinging. Sometimes you just need to, because everybody's really mean to me. So every once in a while, it's good to feel like a gangster. I'm sorry. I'm a very small person. Cigarettes after sex, absolutely. Speaking of spirit cigarettes during Q&A. And white man, I enjoy this conversation and I want to keep it going if you have time. My meds haven't kicked in yet. Undertow. Yes. Yes, that's what it's called. I'm sorry. I've got a lot of brain injuries, so it's hard for me to think fast. Do you want to smoke this bowl, white man? I'll pack it brand new. Hold on. I was curb stomped in Detroit because people thought I worked at the casino. But really, I was a dishwasher at the Parthenon before it got shut down. Like, literally 2 weeks before it got shut down, I got curb stomped. No, no, I didn't. It doesn't even matter to me because God's got my back. And they'll always have that over their head. Did I go to the cops? Are the cops after them? They always got to be looking over their shoulder. I think it's a fun game. And plus, God repays everybody that hurts me. It's a fun thing. Do you want to hit this bull? Hi, Firefly. Hi, baby. How are you? Look, Firefly is my man crush right here. Man. Well, if there was a man crush, she'd be my man crush. Fucking right. But I do know, and I find it the funniest thing ever. I was jumped after work by two guys in work boots that don't have a job. I think I think that's the funniest thing in the fucking world. And I'm telling you what, dude, I don't have to pay my rent by sucking dick. So it was the best thing that ever fucking happened to me in my life. Oh my God. Can you imagine? It's the best. Oh, these fireworks are too much, man. Are you still not feeling good? God's got that. Don't worry. Just do what you're supposed to be doing. God ain't gonna help you if you don't help yourself. God don't help those who don't help themselves. Praying is an action word. Praise run. So if you're gonna pray, you better go for it. Run towards it. And God will do it for you. Drink, even if you have to, drink the broth out of fucking chicken ramen noodles. Oh shit, why? You don't have to tell me why, but God's got your back, dude. Your health will hold out till then. You're fucking beautiful. Beautiful people don't die. And are you happy in your life? Do you got any complaints? Because if you're not fully happy, you're not going to die. Don't worry about it. Happy people die really fast. So don't worry about it. You've got to help me spread my message. So you're not going to die because I work for God. You see what I'm saying? You're going to be the one that gets me out there. So don't even worry about it. Right? Just tell God, like, you remember Nikki works for you and I help Nikki and it'll be all good. You don't need faith. You need to take care of yourself. Everything, purpose and meaning comes. First, you find your purpose or your meaning, and then your purpose, or your purpose, then your meaning. Then you find joy. You find the things that bring you joy. And then you get happiness. And when you get happiness, you meet God. But during that part where you're still trying to figure things out is when you're supposed to find Jesus. And then Jesus walks you along into finding everything out. But first, you got to find your purpose and it'll give you your meaning. What is your purpose? Well, you don't know. Well, you got to find something you enjoy and put your all into it. And then things start coming along, like you get a dog or you get a cat. And then as you start getting responsibilities, you find your meaning. You find yourself and what you're good at. And then you meet Jesus, and Jesus helps you find all that other stuff. You can't get God until you're happy. And you can't get happy until you find Jesus. And you can't find Jesus until you're looking for your purpose. Oh, you're not even listening to me. See, I just said some profound ass shit. It was so profound that it's advice I should take. I'm going to rewatch my video so I can remember what the fuck I just said. No, it's not. We just read about it. Those who endure win the game. You have to find Jesus when you're looking for your purpose. And you can only find your purpose when you find your meaning. Or no, it's the other way. You find your purpose, which is something you enjoy. Find what you enjoy. And that will give you your purpose because you'll get an animal or something like that. And then that becomes your purpose. And then you find Jesus. And then Jesus brings the joy. And the joy in those things will bring you happiness. It goes something like that. But first, you got to find something you love to do. And then you make that your purpose. Go for that goal. That's your purpose. Your purpose is going towards something you want to do. And then that means that you are a driven person. That means you have goals. That means you can do something. Your meaning is you can do something. Your meaning is the things around you, the things you surround yourself with, the way you talk to yourself. All of that means something. And you find Jesus when you're trying to figure out what that stuff means. And then Jesus shows you by the things he gives you. You just got to accept them. And enduring is how you win the game. We just read that. Where did we read that at? We read that in Matthew. Damn it. No, I can't find it. But Neil, didn't we just read that those who endure win? Oh man, you fucked yourself up bad, huh? Let me go back and read this. I was too busy perching. Yes, wait, man. Keep plowing forward. You have to. That would be called a heathen, a Christian witch. That's known as a heathen. That's what your sage is. Oh, uh, a heathen. White man, life is meant to be enjoyed because those who endure win. You have to be happy in your suffering. Yes, Jesus helped you find your purpose. You're going to have part of your foot amputated. Holy shit. Yeah, Firefly, you'll be fine. It's going to be a really hard, oh my God. But either way it goes, you've got to be here for your sage because I need you. And God will make you okay because I need you. Yeah, persevere. That's how you win. Because when you're happy down here, you get to die and go up there and be part of God's army. Because God needs happiness up there to fight the evil. Earth is angel boot camp. We're going to learn that as we go on in the story of Jesus. Because look, he's already said you have to endure. If you lose your life, you gain it with Jesus. That's what I'm saying. Like, if you're happy with the bullshit you have, then Jesus can't do nothing for you. You don't want him in your life, he's not going to come in your life, and then you're going to be fucking miserable. Then you're going to end up in Satan's army, being evil as fuck. I would much rather be rejuvenated into a happy spirit. No, pray is an action word. You have to pray while you're doing it. You have to make effort. And usually it's make effort towards something you love. So you're happy. And when you meet Jesus, he can put things in your path that make life good for you. Like he's done that for me a bunch of times. I have a deep freezer, brand new washer and dryer. Like, I don't have a couch. I got a bunch of chairs. Like, I have so many fucking chairs, but I don't have a couch. And I do my best to take care of my raccoons and these 12 cats. But every once in a while, I have to ask somebody to help me pay for dog food for these raccoons. But other than that, God does. God does me good. And me and God have a great time during my Bible stories. Me and God have a great time, especially with the Old Testament. But again, I had to stop in the middle of the story of David because some things came up. So now we're reading the story of Jesus real quick. But that story makes me cry. It hurts my feelings so bad. Firefly. No matter what happens, you are still my man crush. Okay? Yeah, and I appreciate that. I love when I can get these raccoons food or these cats food. There's 12 stray cats. And oh, hold on. There was just the raccoons had 5 little cubs. The groundhogs had 5 babies. The possum, so far, we've only seen 1 baby. Absolutely, Firefly. No matter what happens, you are my man crush. But I've said that from the first day I saw your picture. I could not shut up about how pretty it is. Oh my God. I couldn't shut up about how pretty she was. It's ridiculous. And white man Fry. Can I just call you Whitey? I'm just gonna call you Whitey. Listen, Whitey, normally I'm in a wig and a hat, so I can be all sage like. Christianity is bullshit. It should be called Paustianity because they listen to Paul more than they listen to Jesus. Where did his thing go? Oh, there it is. I think. Didn't I see somebody called Anakin Skywalker or something like that? I swear to God, I saw it. Did it disappear? Did anybody else see that? Or was it just me? Yeah, like the Anakin Skywalker of. Oh, okay. Never mind. I know what's happening. Hold on. So, but I don't. I'm like the Anakin Skywalker of Christianity. I believe that. Now, I read all that wrong, and I apologize. Give the pillows some head and the sheets some ass, Neil. Have a great time. Is anybody else ready for bed? Or are we ready to talk more? And you can tell me your story, Whitey. You can tell me what you're up to, why you feel like a black sheep. Absolutely. He said, young lady. Oh, okay. Good night. Uh, Whitey, come back tomorrow. We start this live stream at 10 o'clock. So please like and subscribe and have the greatest night ever. It's time to give the pillows some head and the sheets some ass and have the sweetest dreams ever. Love you guys so much.